Today on the patio, we're trying some ribs, but not just any ribs. We're doing some direct fire ribs on the Komodo Kamado. I mean, check out these guys. Let's get into it. What's up, barbecue fans? My name is Jake, and today is the second cook since we brought the Komodo Kamado back on the patio. And when I was considering doing that, the one thing I did is I looked through the accessories on the Komodo Kamado website, and I was like, I wonder if they've got anything new. And in the last year, they do. So today we're trying it out. I'll show it to you in a little bit. It's gonna allow us to do some direct fire ribs today, but we're gonna try it out for the first time. Before we can do that, we gotta fire up our Komodo Kamado. All right, so for those of you who don't know, if you're new to the channel, welcome. But on this channel, there is nothing ever practiced. If I mess up on a cook, it's recording. I'm not gonna delete all that work. I'll share it with you, and I'll share any things that I would have changed about a cook. And if I'm gonna try something new, I'm gonna try it live on the camera. So this, as you can see, has not been opened up yet. But this is what Komodo Kamado calls a duck hanger, okay? The goal here is to be able to cook directly over the charcoal, which adds some amazing flavor. I mean, if you ever had chicken, grilled chicken right over the coals, obviously you've probably had steak. I mean, if you haven't had steak, this is probably the wrong channel for you. No vegetarians allowed here. I mean, we're all about meat on this channel. So if you haven't had any of this stuff, I don't know what you're doing here, but I'm sure you're not. I don't think I have one vegetable in a thumbnail. Oh, I have one because I did a sides video, but that video bombed. Everyone asked me to do a sides video and then it bombed. But yeah, so this guy, probably should have brought out a knife. One part. I wasn't sure how much lump to light or how wide of an area, because I didn't really look at this before I set that part of it up, but learning what I did last time, I'm using up the rest of my KJ big block, and we'll be using some KK stuff that I have a ton of it, honestly, and some Fogo and whatnot, but I wasn't sure how much to use, so we went with 3/4 of a basket. Oh boy, what was I thinking? You know, I could like, through the magic of editing, I could go get a knife and make this so much easier, but why would I do that to myself? Ah, yeah. All right, only a couple more things here. Just our base. Now the cool thing about this thing is that it's designed to sit right on the top and replace the top rack. As you can see, like everything else Komodo Kamado, it is made from stainless. Almost knocked over my rum and coke. You know, I could probably edit out all this work. You know, I probably should, but I think you'd probably get a kick out of me struggling so much just to open up some glorified saran wrap. But this is some strong stuff. You know, I don't do anything easy for myself. So here's how this guy looks. As you can see, it's got a rack, or the perimeter of the top grate, or maybe it's the middle grate, probably the top grate, judging by the size. And then we got, but you got these guys, and they hang down, right? And then we got some of these, and actually, now that I'm looking closer, I'm realizing I probably could have went with a half a basket, no problem, because here's what's gonna happen. We're gonna put one of those on here, like so. And then I'm gonna put one of these guys on here. These are like little three-way Fuji whackers, is my friend who is no longer with us, but he was 80, used to say. I don't think they use that term anymore. What we're gonna do is we're gonna just take a rack of ribs and we're just gonna stick it through there and hang it. But now, I think I can get a rack of ribs there and a rack of ribs there and just hang off this one, like so. like that. Now, the one thing I'm going to do while our KJ is getting up to temperature, just to give you guys an idea, we're going to go around 300. We just got there. I'm using the big hole on the right side, and I was only open up, not even a turn on there. So I'm going to back this down now. We're going to go for 300, so probably about a quarter and maybe a little bit of a turn. We'll lock that in. Again, I haven't used it for a year, so I'm trying to remember all my vent settings. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to give this a quick spray with cooking oil because I think it'll be a little bit easier to clean afterwards. So I'm going to use some Pam for this process. Let me bring you in closer and we'll give this a quick spray. So this guy I'm going to hold off on a little bit. Spray. But I'm going to go just kind of not over the fire, a little bit over the fire. A little bit of a spray there. And there we go, that just sits on the top rack like so. Then I'm going to give this guy a spray, then we're going to close this up so we can settle in our temperatures here. You can see my wood's burning a little bit that's sitting on top, but we still got to preheat. There we go. I might have to trim down my rack of ribs. It might be a little long. Maybe we'll do a couple of these guys, but let's get this closed down and locked in for our temperature, and I'm gonna go get the meat and we'll get set up. So while we wait for our smoke to clear up a little bit here, let me talk to you about these ribs. So these are from Meat and Bone, a newer meat sponsor, partner of the channel, and I bought these at separate times. They're both baby backs, but they're different. This one's Heritage. I think this is just a normal one. I can't remember because I bought them at different times, but they are some great ribs, and let me tell you, if you like meat, like me, and you like a wide variety, big selection of meat, check out Meat and Bone. I've got a discount code. You'll save 10% off your first order. What I did here is, you know, sometimes it's tough to teach an old dog new tricks. I used my Grow Mates Memphis Pit Slow and Low rub on here, and I gave a heavy coating after giving these guys a quick trim. On the one end, I did cut off a little bit of a bone there that was exposed, but other than that, I left them pretty much alone. They were well trimmed right out of the packages. The one thing I will note here is that I did not take the membrane off. Now, traditionally on a St. Louis style rib, I leave the membrane on all the time. On baby backs, I often take it off because we're gonna be over directly the fire. They're gonna get some exposure directly to heat, and I think it's gonna be fine. So, and then what I did after giving these guys a heavy coating on both sides is I did throw them in the fridge for a few hours, and as you can see, they have nicely sweat, and the color has changed dramatically since the time that we put them on. Now what we're gonna do here is inside I was doing some advanced mathematical calculations, in other words, guessing, and I decided to cut this guy in half, the big long one, and the other one I'm just going to put up a little higher, and I think we're going to achieve my desired result. No promises. I may have to call an audible while we're working on this, but I'm going to throw on some gloves, and I tell you guys all the time, like if you use these black nitrile gloves, I've got a link in the description down below, Clean Space Project. The name is a little bit misleading, but they've got a whole bunch of different types of gloves. But you can get 40% off these guys. Doesn't show up until the end of the cart, but it's like, I don't know, 90 bucks for a case of 10 boxes. So I use them to clean my grills, to cook with, clean my cars, and once in a while when I do some gardening or pick some weeds, that way I don't get dirt underneath my fingernails. But just letting you guys know, look, I think what we're gonna do here is we're going to spray this guy with some Pam first. And we're gonna cook around 300. We still got a fair amount of smoke there. This has been going for 20 minutes or so. That's gonna clean up. It's almost completely brown or black, so what'll happen is it will just clear right up. But I'm gonna spray these guys real quick, like so. And then very carefully, this guy's the one that had the hole there, all right? I don't know, I think I got faith, hold on. This one's a little longer, so what we're gonna do is we're gonna try, what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to get them all at the same height. And I know Dennis is gonna, whoa, almost lost one. Dennis is gonna be watching right now, shaking his head at me. But look, I think we got it. I mean, if it was chickens, I would want to spread them out, but let's see. So I'm already seeing next time what I would have done here. Next time what I would do is I would actually use the whole basket. I could hang from here easily and I could hang these other pieces. I think I would put them on all individual pieces, but because I'm rolling with it, I think I'm gonna leave it as it is and we're gonna see what happens. There's only one way to learn, and failure is life's greatest teacher. So if we've got a failure, I'm gonna learn a lot quickly. I'll bring you back a little bit. We're running a tick over 300, maybe 310 or so. Not sure exactly what temperature we're gonna run at for these guys. I don't wanna go too hot, but I don't wanna drag it out and dry them out a little bit. So we're gonna go like 310. So it's been about an hour, maybe an hour and 15. I lost track of time. I forgot to check what time when I put these on, or what time it was. And you remember how I said that failure is life's greatest teacher? Well, we have a little bit of a failure. We've overcooked them a little bit, but I think we can save them. I'll give you a shot of what they look like before I pull them off here. What I'm gonna do is we're gonna pull off one at a time. Here we go. Got some great bone pullback. Obviously that's gonna happen because we're right over the heat. That's hot. Even with the cotton gloves on, it's hot. But I think I overcooked them. You know what, they don't feel it. Man, look at the juicy, I don't know. They're actually not as tender as I thought they were gonna be. But you can see in here, oh yeah, they're tender in there. Let me go get a chef's temp real quick here and double check because I tried to do it while it was over there, but it's so friggin' hot I couldn't do it. Oh, I must have poked through. We're at 193. I take that back. We might not be in too much of a problem. What about this guy? This is why you buy yourself an instant read thermometer. Now this one's hot. This one's saying 208, 209. These guys are a little thicker. Oh, that spot's saying 183. Which part was hanging? Where's our hole? That's where we're hanging. That was the part closest to the fire. Yeah, you can feel this guy's soft, okay? You can see the membrane there. We do not have to worry about chewing on that at all. I mean, it's pretty tender. It's cracking there. I think I'm gonna pull them. I am gonna pull these guys. Before I turn on the cameras, I stuck my thermometer in there and I hit like 210 right away. And it was really hot, so I was like moving quick, and I thought for sure I'd overcooked these and killed them, but I mean, they're already dead, but I think we're actually in pretty good shape. I am not gonna try and put any sauce on them. I'm gonna leave them the way that they are. I don't do that very often, but it's a little awkward to get sauce on there, and I'm worried about knocking them off. Although I will tell you, once the meat shrunk a little bit, they were on the hook pretty good. So I didn't have to worry about them fall off. What I did do is I did spray them. I got out my sprayer, I got 50/50 water apple cider vinegar, and I sprayed them one time throughout that cook because I noticed they're getting a little dry. What I'm gonna do now is I'm going to wrap these in aluminum foil and let them rest and come down in temperature a little bit. Let those meat juices distribute a little bit, but I mean, I'm excited. When you look in this camera here, I'm just touching that. I don't know if that's gonna come across, but right in here, there's a whole bunch of moisture. These are super, super juicy on the inside. Even when I squeeze, I can get a little bit of moisture to come out of them. So I've got much higher expectations than I did when I first started turning on that camera. So what we're gonna do now is we are going to wrap these guys in some heavy duty foil and just let them rest for 10 or 15 minutes. So it's actually been about 20 minutes. These guys actually felt quite warm. They had a lot of carryover in them, a lot of heat from being directly over those coals. So I let them go for a little while longer. Now this is the only rack that I'm a little nervous about. It's the smaller rack. And much like when I cook, I got about 10 times too much foil there. Go away, fly. Oh, man, they smell good. Let me tell you. I always try and have a glove I always try to have my knife in my bare hand just because I like to make sure I've got the grip. But we do. Let's have a look here. Let's go to the one that I fear the most. I'm gonna cut this guy right against the bone so I can get maximum meat on that guy. Same with this one. Not too bad. I'm actually kind of surprised. I thought that this one was gonna be dried out for sure. Let's see. Wow, that is good. I don't even know how to describe that flavor, except for fucking phenomenal. I mean, it's good. It's really, there's something different about that direct fire flavor. I've never tried it before, but man. Let me try it on the ribs that I know they're gonna be really good. This rack right here. Yeah. Yep. I think we're juicy. Like, perfect. This is the one that I cut real close to the bone. I'm gonna take it from the top. Don't worry, Ollie, you'll get some pork. Ollie loves pork. Could have pushed this one a little further. That's the meatiest one. Let's try this one. Again, super juicy. Oh, this one could have went longer too. Now, we still had a little bit of a failure because they could have went longer. I'm surprised. This one's actually pretty darn close to being perfect. The meatier ones need more time. I panicked and rushed getting them off, and I shouldn't have panicked. But let's just talk about that flavor for a second. I never eat ribs without a sauce. I'm a saucy kind of guy. These are phenomenal without a sauce. I can only imagine how good they'd be with a sauce, but if I had to eat these and I could not get sauce on them, I would thoroughly enjoy these without sauce. They're very good. That fat dripping in directly over the coals adds a tremendous amount of flavor. If you have an opportunity to get something like that where you can hang your ribs over top of a live fire, highly recommend you try it because that is absolutely outstanding. Hopefully you got some value out of this. Listen, if you like some KK content, it's back to stay. Got lots coming up. We did pulled pork last week. I'll show you this monster of a pulled pork right here. But stay tuned, lots more coming.